Hello, this is Edward Slavis with the Slavis Group of eXp Realty. This is your DMV real estate market report for July of 2022. This month we're going to focus just on Washington, D.C., not on Maryland and Virginia. There are some surprises in this report. To be honest, I was expecting to see a decrease in market activity, a decrease in prices, and some other negative signs of the market softening because of interest rates, and we are seeing it and we are not. I was generally very surprised, so I kind of want to walk you through what my findings are. And again, this is focusing just on Washington, D.C. First, as always, let's talk about mortgage rates. These are from Zillow. This is, again, just the last 3 months since April. According to Zillow, on average, prices shot as high as 5.89%. I'm sorry, not prices, interest rates, and they've settled back down a little bit. It's hard to know what exactly this data means in terms of you in particular. So again, this is an aggregation of all online data looking at conforming loans, jumbo loans, and the rest. If you want to know what rate you qualify for, the most important thing to do is talk to one of our lenders. In the notes below this video, I've linked to Mr. Will Mitchell of First Savings, our firm's preferred lender. Will can walk you through and actually look based on your credit score, your down payment, your debt to income ratio, etc., and tell you what you qualify for. The important thing here we want to focus on is the trend. Again, this is from Zillow. Bank rate has the average currently at 5.73%. It's still considerably higher though. This is what happened to interest rates, again, according to Zillow, since July of last year. Okay, they were considerably below 3% for several years, and they've now climbed to close to 6%. The Fed's also talking about raising interest rates again. So these rates may peak and stay above 6% for a while in the future. We are not sure, but rates have certainly gone up. If you want to know what you qualify for, what it will mean for your monthly payment, then again, please reach out to Will. I would stay away from bank rate and the other online sources for that. Again, here we're looking at the trend. Refinance rates, very, very similar to the purchase rates. Okay. So what are we seeing in the data? I was expecting to see in June of 2022 a decrease in total sales. It just seemed like anecdotally there were fewer showings, fewer visitors to open houses, fewer offers on homes. It just seems like maybe a lot of buyers are sitting it out. We didn't see it at all. One thing I want to point out, again, these are slightly less than the previous months, but still very, very good months. This number here, June of 2022, is a bit less than July of 2021. I'm sorry, June of 2021. Okay, so we're going to come back to that later when we talk about expired listings. But overall, it's still pretty good. These are the closed sales based on year over year. So you can see that the last several months has been less in terms of the number of sales per property than 2021, but that was also a record year. Okay, we came out of 2020, which is a slow year because initial waves of COVID. So there's still a lot of volume selling. It's just not quite as high as this year was here. Okay. Now, maybe the prices are coming down though. So the same sales volume, but the prices are coming down. This is median price. Again, this is for all properties in DC, single family homes, condos, all of it. Prices do not appear to be coming down. Again, year over year change. Last month, we thought, okay, maybe this is a sign of a correction because it was 5% lower than it was of May of 2021, and then right back up to about 4% higher for June of 2021 over June of 2022 over June of 2021. I'm messing up a lot of these months, but I think you're following along. Maybe homes are not staying on the market longer. We're not seeing that either. These are median days on market for all the homes that have sold. You can see there's a little peak in January last year, peak in January this year, but now homes are staying on the market for a median of about 10 days. Interestingly enough, if we look back over the last 5 years, you see 5 distinct peaks. That is the 5 winter seasons for the housing market. Not germane to this report, but it goes to show you visually that if you want to sell a house, springtime is a great time to sell. Homes stay on the market for considerably less time. Winter is always a bit rough. Okay, so the median price is still increasing. Maybe the median price per square foot is decreasing. No, here's median price per square foot by month over the last 2 years. Again, you'll see some lower months than the previous, but in general, the trend line is certainly positive. Again, this is the year-over-year change. Right now, it's basically selling at approximately what it was selling for in 2021, okay, for 1 year prior. You would think, however, that it would be that the trend line would be down and we'd start to see prices less than they were a year ago because interest rates again went from 2.5 to 5.5. But no, we're still seeing price increases of price per square foot about 4% higher year over year than last year. This is again zooming in based on the last 6 months. So just zooming in on the very right hand of the previous chart to say more or less things are selling exactly where they were a year ago. So interest rates, which the sales and the prices would be lagging the interest rates, but we're still several months in and we're not necessarily seeing it in the homes that have sold, okay? And that is the biggest takeaway. All of this data that's posted is for houses that are actually selling. Now, if you remember when I showed you one of the first charts where you could see the total sales volume in June of 2021 was considerably higher than June of 2022. If you go and look at houses that were expired, which is to say, the listing agent had perhaps 3 months or 6 months to sell it and didn't, and the agreement expired, houses that were canceled, which is to say the listing agreement was fired, or were withdrawn, which is maybe the seller said, okay, it's not selling, let's pull it and relist it in a different season, or let's make some repairs and relist it. Either way, those things expired, canceled, withdrawn. The house was put on the market, ultimately did not sell. In June of last year, there were 458 houses, condos or co-ops, so properties in DC that did not sell. In June of this year, there were 774. So from 458 last June to 774 this June, that is an increase of 68%. But remember, there was also more homes sold last year than were sold this year. So that the number may actually be higher in terms of the percentage of the house actually selling once it goes on the market. What does this tell me? It tells me that buyers are being pickier. If your home is well priced, reasonably priced, if it is properly prepared in terms of, say, repairs, staging, decluttering, depersonalization, if it is well marketed, if it is well represented at open houses, if it is well negotiated, your house still will sell and you'll be able to sell it at a 2021 price. However, if your house is not put on the market in that condition, which is to say the proper repairs are not made, is not well marketed, the agent working the open house is perhaps not as prepared as you would like as the seller, then your house has a very good chance that actually it will not sell at all. Okay? Not that you do a price drop, but it simply won't sell. It will sit there, perhaps get stagnant, and you'll have to make up your mind of, do you continue to drop the price and try and get ahead of the market, or maybe you pull it and wait for another season. General thoughts for sellers. If you were thinking about selling now, I would feel more confident selling now than say in 6 months. Why is that? Again, in 6 months, I'm fairly confident we're going to start to see some of these things corrected if interest rates continue to climb. Inflation's at a 40-year high. I think the market will have to cool off as interest rates go higher. To me, it just doesn't seem like it can continue going as strong as this forever. So I think you're going to start to see more and more homes that don't sell, and I think you'll start to see a correction in the price. If you're thinking about selling in 10 years, I think the market is going to be plenty strong there. I would not worry. But if you're debating now versus, say, 6 months, I would really consider selling now. Caveat, however, again, is that your house is properly prepared. Buyers are being very, very picky now, and they're very willing to walk away from a house. I spoke to Will Mitchell, our lender, this morning, who said he's had 3 recent buyers that walked away from a home inspection, when in the past they wouldn't do that. Now the buyers have the leverage to be pickier. So it is important that we look at your home, prepare it, market it, represent you well, negotiate well, you still get the price. If you're not firing on all of those cylinders, then there's a good chance that your home will not sell. Now, is it a good chance to be a buyer? Yes, absolutely. I think this is a great time to be a buyer. Interest rates are higher, but we're starting to see more leverage on buyers' behalf. And this allows you to go and put in an offer and not give away every single contingency in a way to being competitive. You can do a fast home inspection, still retain your appraisal or finance contingencies if you need those to be comfortable, but you don't have to give them all away just in the nature of being competitive. Yes, rates are higher, but they're higher than they were in January of this year. If you look at a 20-year average, 5.5% is not a bad rate at all. And we also have a saying within our enterprise that is, you marry the house and date the rate. Meaning, if this house is good for you for 30 years, that's great. Maybe you'll pay a slightly higher rate for the first 2 or 3 years. Rates come down, and then you can refinance into a 4%, then hopefully soon again into a 3%. So I think this is a great time to be a buyer. Now, if you're a seller, if you want to know what your house is worth, again, in the link, the notes below this video, we have a link for a free home evaluation estimate. We can also do a consultation on if you were to sell, we'd recommend these repairs and this marketing plan to get you top dollar. And if you're a buyer, we also have a link for a free consultation. Again, you can also reach out to Will Mitchell, our lender, and discuss the particulars for you as opposed to just the markets in general. So last summary, homes are still selling, still getting great prices per square foot. Sellers are still happy. However, the sellers have to be, I think, much more discerning in terms of how they present their house for market, or it's a good chance it doesn't sell. And for buyers, again, I think it's a great opportunity to come in with more leverage than you've seen in years past. Okay, one personal request here. Again, in the notes, we'll have a link to this. A good friend of mine from high school, Ryan Murray, passed away a few years ago of multiple myeloma. This year I'm doing a Ragnar. If you're not familiar, it is a 200-mile race. About 12 people, you take turns running, you pass the baton to the next guy, everybody else follows along in a van. This does not sound like it's fun at all. Supposedly it is, but I'm doing it for a very good cause. I'm doing it for a fundraiser to set up a scholarship in Ryan's name at our alma mater. My goal is to raise $25,000 this year. So again, in the notes below, if you know me, you know I give a portion of all of our proceeds to charity, but this is a particular event I'm going to raise extra money for. The goal is $25,000. So if you want to go and click the link below this, we'd love to have your donation. Every little bit helps, and it's going for a very, very good cause. So again, this was a long market report. Thank you for listening. I hope you found it to be beneficial. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. And if you have any questions about this report or about your particular home or maybe your neighborhood in particular, or maybe you're in DC and Virginia, what have you, any questions at all, please never hesitate to reach out. We always welcome your business. Thank you and have a great day.